Yes, people, Manscaped is back, but this time it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.
Yes, people. Big up to all of you. Good evening to all of you. Or good morning or afternoon, wherever you're listening around the world. Tonight, Arsenal are playing football. I say tonight, it's probably the early hours of the morning, isn't it? So we're going to be chatting about that Arsenal versus Liverpool as we start to come to an end over in the States. Then we go over, of course, back to England. So the last few games before the season starts, it is hotting up, people. There's well over 200 of you in here. So please make sure you do me a favor. And as you enter, hit the like button, please, and hit the subscribe button. We're getting very, very close towards 30k now, so let's make sure that we hit the subscribe button, please. It's free. Make sure you hit the like button, which is also free. And make sure you check out Manscaped, who are our sponsors. Make sure you go over to the Beard Hedger because you get 20% off. So please make sure that you do that using that link. All you got to do is click the link, select Beard and Face, Beard Hedger, add it to your cart, and you'll see that 20% will come off automatically. So please make sure that you do that and support the channel sponsors, people. We're going to talk about Mikel Merino tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Eddie Nketiah tonight. We're also going to talk about what we might need to prioritize still in this window because it is now hotting up and it is very, very busy. So we're going to be talking all things Arsenal tonight. Make sure you lock yourself in. Big up to everyone that's in the chat. Big up to all of you that are listening after this on Catch Up. And do you know what? It has been a busy day. It's been a busy day for myself. I literally have not stopped since 8:30 this morning. I've been doing streams. I've been doing shows. I've been going to see family and friends. It's been a lovely day. And do you know what helps? The heat. The weather, the summer has finally arrived. So big up to all of you. Hope you're enjoying yourselves as well. We're going to go through some Romano stuff tonight. We're going to go through the AFC stuff Twitter account, which I like because it's got a lot of journalists' views and reports on there. We're also going to be taking a look at what this might mean for other clubs in relation to Mikel Merino. Are Sociedad looking at another target? Well, the answer to that is yes, which means that this is probably going to happen. So we're going to share the screen and go through some of the tweets from that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the striker option. And I'm going to go through what I think we still need and how I believe we can get to a scenario where we can have every position covered in terms of adequate cover and strength in depth, not just a player who might be able to play there. That's the way I look at it. And that's the way I want it to be. We're going to share the screen with Fabrizio Romano because it's not a here we go, but it's as close to it when he starts to tweet. We're going to share what Romano has said in relation to Mikel Merino tonight. Now, it looks as if this one is going to happen, people. It looks as if this is getting close. Mikel Merino is a player we've been linked with for a very, very long time now. Actually, in the Euros, it was a player that I looked at because I knew that we were interested. And Romano has reposted this because this was something he did speak about before. He says Arsenal are closing in on Mikel Merino. A verbal agreement is now getting closer. The agreement is in place on personal terms, as Merino wants the move. The verbal discussions with Real Sociedad for the package are in excess of 30 million euros, which I think works out between 20 and 25 million. And the talks are on to get this deal done. There was reports that this was going to happen after Emil Smith-Rowe was announced. Now, that was obviously announced and it's been confirmed now that Emil Smith-Rowe is a Fulham player. And once the Calafiori deal was done and Emil Smith-Rowe was going the other way, it looked as if Mikel Merino was going to get done. Now, I think this is going to be a very interesting signing. The reason I think it's going to be an interesting signing is because I do not know a lot about the player to know that he's going to be the mould of a Granit Xhaka, that he's going to be the perfect partner for Declan Rice, that he's going to be the number 8 box-to-box option that Arsenal need. I can't lie and say that. All I can say is that I believe some of the attributes that I believe we've missed definitely have compliments from this guy in terms of physical attributes. He's quite imposing as a midfielder. He's 6'2". He's good in the air. Aerially, you saw what he could do for Spain when he scored in the semi-finals against Germany. I, however, do not look at this signing and think complete, done, Arsenal already. There's a lot to do still, right? And I don't think Mikel Merino comes in as an absolute cemented starter, in my opinion, right? But I do think that it will complement Declan Rice Jorginho and Partey, of course, who we can't forget, and Martin Odegaard. And I think that, for me, was what I absolutely loved about the trio of Partey, Xhaka and Odegaard 2 seasons ago. When we went for that title push that no one really saw coming, Granit Xhaka was a different player because he complemented Partey and Odegaard and they complemented him. Martin Odegaard has one of his better seasons in an Arsenal shirt finally because Xhaka and Partey were allowing him to be that midfielder that we love to watch him week in, week out, and we know that he can be. And Thomas Partey was sitting at the base of that midfield and was unbelievable in transition and started everything off. But the only reason he was able to do that was because of Xhaka and Xhaka and Odegaard. Now, when Declan Rice came in, I thought, wow, Partey, Rice and Odegaard, this is going to be amazing. And I still believe that, by the way. Now that Partey looks like he's going to stay, I still believe that. But let me tell you this. If Merino comes in, then I think that is the absolute perfect opportunity for us to look at strength in depth for the number 8 position because we don't have no box-to-box player. I wanted Kefren Thuram or Yusuf Fofana. They were the two that I looked at. When Thuram and Fofana were looking at going, I thought, let's go and snap at least one of them up. It's going to be brilliant. We were linked with Zubamendi. He doesn't want to leave. But how linked were we with Mikel Merino? Well, apparently Mikel Arteta has liked him for a while. He's been a player that he's looked at definitely as the potential to be the Granit Xhaka replacement. And I say the Granit Xhaka replacement because we haven't really replaced Granit Xhaka. And I say the Granit Xhaka replacement because he is going to play in that 8. He is definitely an 8 from what I can look at. He doesn't drop into the 6. He doesn't really go forward into the 10. I found out today through Tom that he actually took over more from David Silva when he hung up his boots from Real Sociedad and said, look, I'll start to bomb forward and do those late runs into the box. But he's not really I don't know, what's the replication? He's not really a Gerrard, Ramsey, Lampard type player who goes into the box with these late runs. Even Kai Havertz, to be fair, was one of the good attributes he does have. I don't believe he's that from what I've heard, but there is glimpses of that into his game. So for me, I think this one is pretty much going to get done. Now, there are suggestions that there are already options that Real Sociedad are looking at in terms of trying to replace him. And that, for me, is something which could be quite exciting. Because when you start to see that, there's opportunities for the player to leave, when you start to see that they're already looking to replace him, that's when it gets quite exciting for me. So obviously on the Transfer News Live here, coming from Matt Moretto and Fabrizio Romano, suggesting that Arsenal were edging closer to the signing of Mikel Merino from Real Sociedad. The fee would be in excess of 30 million euros. So that's around about 20 to 25 million as we expected. But this is very interesting here because Sociedad are in advanced negotiations with PSG to sign Carlos Soler, and he would replace Mikel Merino, who could be Arsenal bound. So it looks like Carlos Soler could be the guy that they look at replacing Mikel Merino with. Now, that for me is really exciting because it means that they're already looking at life beyond Mikel Merino. And what I find even more interesting / exciting is, like Calafiori, he's happy to come Arsenal. Now, I must say, when I heard Calafiori's interview, it did excite me even more. Because I could feel it. I could listen to it and I could feel the belief that he had, the hunger, the desire, the passion that he has to play in this league, but also with this shirt. Now, wearing this shirt for him is a dream. Being in this league is a dream. Now we look at this player saying, I fancy Arsenal. Arsenal's the one I'm interested in. Looks like a fee is pretty much agreed. Looks like personal terms is pretty much there. I've got to say, Calafiori is the left back. Merino looks to be the left-sided 8. Our left-hand side is going to be very interesting. And let me tell you this, people. Martinelli. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he will be one of our best players. I've said it. Clip me up. I'm that confident that Mikel Arteta has noted and understood and noticed that our left-hand side was all over the place. And I personally believe that there's an opportunity for Martinelli to get back into what I believe was one of his best seasons a couple of years ago when he got 15 goals. I think Martinelli could be brilliant. I really do. And I love the fact that we're checking out this left-hand side. Now, you can talk about potentially looking at a position for Declan Rice. You can look at talking about potentially a centre forward that might need to come in, and we're going to discuss that for sure. But for me, when you look at it, the left-back scenario was a mess. Timber was supposed to play there. Timber weren't available. Then there's the left 8 position. Rice, Havertz, Vieira, Smith-Rowe. Didn't someone else play there? Was it Trossard that played there once as well? Come on, man. It's chop and change, chop and change, chop and change. And Martinelli needs sustainability. He needs to be able to gel and mix and understand. Just like Saka's had over the right-hand side with Odegaard, Saliba and White every single game. Martinelli needs that on the left. And for me, that would be fairly exciting that we're looking at both 2 left-sided players, both being left-footed, that are going to be comfortable over that side of the pitch. And I think that will allow Martinelli to flourish. Now, it might be, personally, that Trossard starts. That's cool. That's cool. Trossard would probably deserve to start. Martinelli's one of my favourite players, but you've got to be real. Real talk, Trossard was phenomenal for us last season, scoring the most goals alongside Bukayo Saka. You can't let that one go. You can't look at that and say, yeah, he doesn't deserve to start because actually I prefer Martinelli. But trust me, Martinelli will get back into this side. Martinelli will flourish this season. I've got no doubts about his ability. I love his technical ability. I love his tenacity. I love his never say die attitude. I love the passion. I love the fact that he looked ready the other night when he came on against Man United. He looked ready. He stole the show. By far the best player. Honestly, I think Calafiori and Martinelli on that left-hand side with Rice and Merino, I think this could be very, very interesting for me. I really do. So don't sleep on Martinelli this season, people. Don't give up on him yet. The kid's 22 years old. Yeah. I know he's been around for a while. We've had him for a few seasons. In fact, we've had him for all of Arteta's regime because it was a Unai Emery signing, if you remember. Do not give up on this guy, man. Trust me. I think we've got a good player in there. So I've got a lot of faith and a lot of time with him. And I think that he could have a very good season. So I'm looking forward to see what we get from Martinelli. I really am. Make sure you do me a favor, people. Hit that like button. We've got 166 likes, but there's 725 of you in here. So that means there should easily be 400 likes by now. All I'm asking for you to do is click 2 buttons. It costs nothing. Like and subscribe. That's all I need you to do. Thank you very much, people. Let's take a look at some of the other news. I know it sounds like a bit of a duplication, but I like to see what everybody is saying because sometimes people don't think that the one source is reliable, even if it's Fabrizio Romano, believe it or not. Some people say, do you know what? I like him, but sometimes it's just a here we go, here we go, here we go. Well, let's share what's going on across the world of journalism with AFC stuff. If no one's following them, make sure you do because I find them quite useful because it just goes through all of what people are saying. So from here, we've got Fabrizio Romano, who's literally just put the hourglass, the timer, the Spanish flag, AFC stuff reposted. It's going to be happening. Basically, he's saying Arsenal look to be signing Mikel Merino. Arsenal one step away from the signing of Merino, according to Matt Moretto. The club have presented a verbal offer, which is worth 30 million euros plus bonuses to Real Sociedad in the last few hours. And an agreement is close. Now, a few people in the chat are saying it's been agreed. It's been agreed. I can't see that at the moment, but I will look at that again. So if there is anything that people can let me know about, it's very hard for me sharing about 4 screens here and doing about 400 things. If there is something that says that has been agreed, then please do share it with me. But at the moment, it looks like this is the latest. So, closing in on a deal for Merino, verbal agreement, £30 million. And what I love about this is the last bit here from Romano. This was an hour ago. The player already has an agreement on personal terms and wants to join Arsenal. That, for me, is gold dust. Like I said to you, Calafiori said the same thing. Get me to Arsenal. I'm happy to be there. I want to be at Arsenal. If this guy's saying it as well, that makes, for me, the signing even better. Because what he says is, I want to play for the club. I'm happy to come to Arsenal. I've bought into the project and the season of going for trophies. And I believe what Arteta and Edu have sold me is good enough. I'm excited by that. Now, I'm not excited by Merino coming in because I don't think he's going to tear the league up. I don't think the guy, I don't know that the guy's good enough yet. I need to see him. But what I don't like is when people go, Calafiori, who's that? Mikel Merino? Bloody hell, who's that? Now, that's cool. I've got no problem with people saying that part. What I don't like is let him wear the Arsenal shirt first, guys, yeah? Because remember everyone did this with Aaron Ramsdale? Remember everyone did this with Tomiyasu? Remember everyone did this with Ben White? Remember everyone did this with Martin Odegaard? Oh, Erdegaard's a flop from Madrid. Ben White, 50 million for a Brighton centre half. What are you talking about? Ramsdale, relegation fodder. No, thank you. 24 million. Tommy Yasu who? We did that a lot. So trust me. Trust me when I say that there is the opportunity for us to take a look at these players. And I think we need to. I think it's fair for us to take a look now at potentially going and seeing what Calafiori's like, because a lot of people speak very highly about him. And a lot of people also look at the Mikel Merino deal and think that he could be a very good signing also. So let's see what happens. Okay. This is very interesting, what I am seeing now. Oh, wow. Okay. I've refreshed it, as Nifana says in the chat. Let's take a look now, shall we? Because there's been some new updates as we speak, which is always good when you're live. So let's get this right. Here we go. So, finally, some stats. And I get told all the time, oh, stats this, stats that. That doesn't mean anything. Do you know what? I hate numbers. I hate them. But sometimes people like them, right? So let's go through them. When I lose a duel, I'm upset. Everybody remembers that great from a line from Mikel Arteta at the Amazon documentary. I think it was against Nottingham Forest where we lost in the FA Cup. Oh, don't remind me. These are the duels won in the 23-24 season of Europe's top 7 leagues. Jules won. Wow. Top of the list. Mikel Merino. Real Sociedad. And I must say, by some distance, the only player in the 300s. 326 to be exact. The next is Mohamed Kudus, another player I love, by the way, on 297. Bruno Guimaraes, a player I do rate very, very highly as well. He's on the list in the top 4. For me, this excites me because these are the sort of stats you want with your number 8. You want someone going into interceptions. You want someone being in the mix. You want someone definitely getting into a interception, having a physical presence, having attributes in midfield like that of the greats, like the Vieiras and Yaya Torres and Roy Keanes. We could go on and on and on, couldn't we? If you at least have one of those attributes, then I'm cool with that in midfield, because that attribute for me is one of the most important. That's why I believe Declan Rice, as much as people might say he can't do that, he can't do this, I actually look at Rice and I think, yeah, you were a warrior, man. You were a destroyer, but you're also very good at X, Y, Z. Merino, I'm not sure if he's good at everything in terms of the all-round package of a midfielder like Declan Rice, but he's certainly got the stats there. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. You know, these stats can mean nothing. Yeah, we can't get too excited. But I like the fact that that is there. Oh, my word. What was that? Fly him off. So Matt Moretti is suggesting that this looks like it's going to happen. Mikel Merino will be an Arsenal player. The club have reached an agreement with Sociedad, which is worth 30 million euros plus bonuses. An official announcement should take place in the next few days. This is sounding like Calafiori all over again. So for me, this is going to happen. It looks very, very likely, with Romano talking about it, with Matt Moretto talking about it. We've got lots of other sources suggesting that this is going to happen. An agreement is in place. Also, when you look at it, it's not just the agreement in terms of a price now, which is what was holding it up. He's already agreed personal terms of Arsenal from what we hear. So it sounds like he wants Arsenal. It sounds like we've already sorted all of that out. Mikel Arteta wants this guy. Looks like this guy wants Arsenal. I think this is going to happen, people. I really do. So get locked in, buckle up, because it's going to be a good ride. This is going to get very interesting in the next few. So a few minutes ago, Mikel Arteta has been the one pushing to sign Mikel Merino, and he's been in contact with the player on numerous occasions. Arteta's insistence and the project to Arsenal have been enough to convince Merino to join the club. This is going to happen, people. Now, I look at it, and what I like about it is that at the moment, when we are linked with players, one, it's a player who we need in terms of position. We're not looking like we did with Wenger when we needed a striker and we're buying another left back. For me, we're looking now at having some pulling power because of the club of Arsenal. But actually, when we have conversations with the players, they all seem to be pretty set on the project. Now, with Kai Havertz, you might think, oh, get me out of Chelsea. I'm happy to. But he was set to come to Arsenal. David Raya was as well. Declan Rice is the one that really did impress me the most, because to talk to him and get him to come across when there was Man City after him, you've got to be pretty good at what you're doing. So Arteta and Edu deserve credit here to getting these players in the door. 100% they do. I think they've got a lot of them wrong. Fabio Vieira, Nuno Tavares, Cedric, Pablo Mari, Lokonga, Runnison. There's a lot that we can talk about what they've got wrong. They've actually got a lot right. And I hope that these two, as in Calafiori and Merino, are added to that, because I think it's important that we keep going here. Good bit of news as well is that Ricardo Calafiori is with the Arsenal squad to face Liverpool tonight. That will be very interesting. Will he get some minutes? Be nice, wouldn't it? It would be really nice if he did get some minutes. He's a player that I really cannot wait to see. So, where do we still need to strengthen? Calafiori, he's done. That's good. Merino looks to be getting done. That's really good. We still need two more. And in my opinion, we might need three more. But I think with the right player, which I'm going to bring up, we might only need two more. And the two players that I think we now need to go for after Merino comes in is Eze and Gyökeres. Because for me, when you get those two, I think Eze can cover you a number of positions. So it means you don't have to go and get a Smith-Rowe replacement, a Saka replacement, an Ødegaard replacement, a blah, blah, blah. For me, Eze can play in the Ødegaard position, in the left 8 position, in the left wing position, and in the Saka right wing position. So Eze for me would be phenomenal. That has to happen for me. £60 million, £8 million add-ons. That's the one we've got to do. The versatility from Eze for me makes it a no-brainer. Now, I like Pedro Neto a lot. Me and Tom's discussed him tonight. But Eze for me would be the one. He really would. So for me, I would like to personally see Eze come to Arsenal. The other thing I would really like to see is Victor Gyökeres at Arsenal. Now, I'm a big fan of both these players. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you and believe that it's a player I watch every week, because I don't. I don't watch Gyökeres every week. But I really like what I hear from him. I really like what I see. And I personally believe we've got a great opportunity, in my opinion anyway, to get him. Now, £84 million is the release clause. 100 million euros. Will they want less than that? I hope so. I really hope so. But what is the... Sorry, I'm trying to get the team news up. What is the asking price for them? Now, a lot of people are suggesting that there's potential for Arsenal to be able to go in a little bit less. But I think they're going to try and ask for as much as they can. And I understand why. Let's come back to that in a minute, because the team news is out for tonight, people. So let's share it. Where are we? We're in the away kit tonight, which I must say I really don't like. I'm not a fan. I'm old school, people. I'm old school. I like yellow and blue for the away kit, red and white for the home kit, and black and gold. The one that I've got on now should be the colours for the third kit. Anyway, that's another story. So the team news for tonight, let's take a look at this. Is there any shocks in this team? We've got Carl Hein in goal. That's no shock. We've got Ben White at right back. That's no shock. We've got Kiwior and Gabriel partnering at the back with Zinchenko at left back. I suppose Timber needs a little bit of a rest because he has played in the other games. But other than that, I don't expect anything different if Timber is out. Partey starting is very interesting because a lot of people felt that he looked leggy. I personally feel like he's still got a great season ahead of him if we can keep him managing wisely. Ødegaard is in there and Kai Havertz is in midfield. Oh my God. What is this manager doing? When is this manager going to learn that he cannot play in the midfield, for goodness sake, man? This is a joke. Why do we keep seeing this? Just play Wanyeri. Just play Lewis Skelly. I don't care who it is. Stop putting this guy in midfield, man. It actually winds me up, people. I don't get it. This is the reason we lost to Villa. This is the reason we lost to Bayern Munich. I'm not livid because we might now lose this game. I don't care about this game. This is about practice, right, and fitness. What's frustrating me is this manager is still believing he's an option in midfield. Now, the only thing I would say is if this ever happens again, is that Ødegaard is the 8 and Havertz is the 10. Because I don't want Havertz in that 8. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Reece Nelson is playing, I guess, on the right-hand side. Martinelli on the left. And Jesus is obviously in the middle. We have Tommy Setford on the bench. We have Nygaard on the bench. We have Rojas on the bench. We've got Heaven on the bench. Lewis Skelly, Nichols, Rekic, Jorginho, Rosiak, Salah, Gower, Vieira, Trossard, Sego Jr., Ranieri, and Nketiah. Nketiah is on the bench. That's very interesting. What do we think to that, people? What do we think to that? I'm not too bothered by the actual team lineup in terms of who we've selected, but to put Havertz? Come on, man. What's happening here? Havertz in midfield. Nah, man. It's not looking good for me. He needs to have a good game. Let me tell you this. It's only a friendly. I get it. People are saying, oh, come on, man. What's happening? What's happening? Havertz in midfield. It ain't for me. It ain't for me. So that's interesting. No Timber in the squad. Great thinking. Yeah, where is Timber? Oh, don't say he's injured. Please. Please don't say he's injured. Hopefully he's okay. Yeah, hopefully he is okay. No, I didn't just say Jorginho. I said Jorginho. And yeah, Jorginho. Yeah, I don't get this Havertz thing. It's very strange for me. Do not understand it. It's something I cannot really understand for the life of me. But yeah, Timber, what's happening? What's happening with Timber? I don't know is the answer. I don't know. I believe personally it must be an injury because, yeah, where is he? That's mad. That's mad. We've got Tomiyasu and Tierney already injured. We don't need Timber injured again. Trust me. I think we're going to beat him. I think we're going to beat him. I think we're going to beat him 2-1. Let me know your score predictions in the chat. Boom, go. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal. What am I going to go for? I'm going for Gabby Martinelli again tonight. I've got so much faith in him now. I really have. I'm going for Gabby Martinelli. And I'm going for Gabby Jesus. I'm going for both the Gabbies again. Both the Gabbies. That's what I'm going for. We've got 2-1. We've got 2-2. We've got 3-2. Wow, we've got different scores here. That's for sure. 2-1. We've got 2-2. 3-2. I guess this is all to Arsenal, by the way. We've got Pele saying 3-1. Niffin saying 1-1. Interesting. Does it go to penalties again? Someone let me know. I think it does. I guess all these games are going to penalties afterwards, which is very, very bizarre. So do you think we'll win and do you think we'll win on penalties? 2-1 Arsenal. Tough match. Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be a tough match. 3-2 Arsenal. 2-0, says Brad. 5-2. Wow, that's an absolute cracker if you're right there. Red Smoke says 2-0. Timber's being rested. FFS, Dan, chill out. Wow. Okay. I just suggested he might be injured. I don't think I was losing my head, but fair play. 4-1 Arsenal. 4-2 Arsenal. 2-2. 3-2 Arsenal. 1-0. We score and keep them at null. That would be good, wouldn't it? 3-1. Here we go. Alex has been sensible and said that Timber is being rested as part of his rehab. Do you know what? Fair play. If that's the case, then it's all good. 4-1 Gooners. 1-1. 4-3. 4-2. Yeah, a lot of people are predicting a win. Someone's put 10-0. Oh, my word. Imagine. Can you imagine? It would be unbelievable. Journalist is saying that Timber's being rested. There we go. So he's going to be fine. That's really good news. I did not want him to be injured. That's for sure. Not something that I wanted. So, yeah. Listen, I'm not doing watch-alongs. I don't do watch-alongs. I do them on AFTV, and that's it. I don't do them on my channel. I've never really enjoyed it. I like to really get into the game and not have to worry about any computer stuff. It'll just drive me insane. So you've got AFTV for that. You've got Lee Gunner for that. You've got Curtis Shaw for that. You've got all those guys. So go do the watch-alongs there. Chazza says 2-0. Hope you're well, bruv. I hope so. I'm going 2-1. Let's see where we are at. Look, what I wanted to do was I wanted to see in terms of where we are at in terms of squad depth, because I think it's really important now that we look at the opportunity that we've got in front of us, which is going for all 4 competitions. Now, people say to me, we can go for the league. Yeah, of course. But why not go for more than that? Why not go for Champions League? Why not go for the domestic cups? We can't keep throwing these domestic cups away. It gets really frustrating over the last few seasons that we finally won one under Mikel Merino, and since then he's like, yeah, not too bothered by him now. Come on, man. We've got to be bothered by him. This is what we need to win. You can't go over 30 years without a League Cup, but Arsenal have. The size of this club, we should not be going that long without a League Cup. It's been 4 or 5 years now without an FA Cup. That's got to be changed. Also, over 20 years without a Premier League title, over 30 without a European trophy, and that was the Cup winners in 94. So let's go and do something this season that shuts everyone up. Let's go and shut Man City and Chelsea up and win a Champions League. Let's go and shut everybody up that's laughing because it's going to take Arsenal over 30 years to win another Premier League title. Let's go and shut everybody up by saying Energy Drink Cup can't even win that. And let's go and prove that the FA Cup is Arsenal's, yeah? Because that's Arsenal's cup, mate. We've got 14 of them. So let's go and take them seriously. So what I wanted to do is put together what I think that we still need. And I've said that we need Eze and Gyökeres. And I'm going to explain to you why I believe that we do need these two players still. This is where it gets very interesting as far as Arsenal are concerned. Now, this is very messy, and I apologise for that. And I do apologise if it's not as big. If I make this bigger, I would like to, but trust me, it will blow up and be an absolute mess. So trust me when I say that you'll just have to get your eyes used to this one. I'll read it out as well for those of you that are visually impaired or those of you that cannot have their glasses at them that need this. But trust me, this at the moment is where Arsenal are at. I have put together 2 11s because we need 2 players in each position, right? So there is the tactics board there, and we have got Arsenal's first 11 and Arsenal's second 11. Now, let's take a look at this in a bit more detail. We don't know what's happening with Aaron Ramsdale, okay? But at the moment, David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale were the 2 Arsenal goalkeepers. That, for me, is absolutely fine. But what we have done is we have now covered pretty much every position as best that we can with adequate cover. No more Eddie Nketiah has been flung on, no more Reece Nelsons, no more Cedrics, no more El Nenis. This time, we're actually flinging on players that can actually be a drop-off of this much, not this much. So the 2 goalkeepers we're going to touch on if Ramsdale wants to leave. But at the moment, it looks like we've got 2 goalkeepers that are going to be remaining unless things change in the coming days or weeks. At right back, we've got Ben White. Okay, we've got Ben White over here, as you can see him. If Ben White is to get an injury, we've got Tomiyasu over here that can come in. We've also got Jurrien Timber that can come in, right? So there's 3 options for us at right back. Now that we've signed Calafiori over here, he's our left back, in my opinion. But we also have Jurrien Timber that can play at left back. We also have Zinchenko, who can play at left back, although I'm not a big fan of him defensively. And at the moment, although it may look like he may leave, we've got Jacob Kiwior. Okay? Now, we also have Tomiyasu. There's definitely enough cover at left back. We've got Gabriel at left-sided centre-back. If he was to get a knock, we've got Calafiori who can play there. And we've got, at the moment, Jacob Kiwior. So we're cool at left-sided centre-back. Saliba, we all know he's going to start. He's our right-sided centre-back. If he does get a knock, we've got options. We've got Ben White who can shift inside and play at right-sided centre-back. We've got Jurrien Timber that can play there. Or if you are desperate, you have got Tomiyasu, who I think could play there as well. We haven't actually got a backup right centre-back, but we've got options that can play there, right? That's what we're at. We've got 2 or 3 options that can play. So that is why I think we've got some depth. Okay, then what we have is the midfield. Thomas Partey is there. The reason I've put them on the left-hand side as our first team is because that's what we've ended the season with just gone. It might not be our first 11, right? Trossard should be in probably instead of Martinelli, but let's just go with it. So, Thomas Partey. If he was to get injured, you've got Declan Rice, or you've got Jorginho can come off from the bench to play there. So the 6 is covered now, right? The 6 is covered for me. Sorry, Jorginho should be over here, by the way. So, for me, the left 8 is now covered. Declan Rice is going to start there, in my opinion, right? If he doesn't, and Rice starts in the 6, we've got Merino. Now, I don't know that he's going to be the number 16, by the way. I've just given him a squad number, so don't start reading into that too much. But we've got 2 8s now. 2 proper 8s. Not Havertz playing there, not Fabi Vieira playing there, not Smith-Rowe because he's now gone. These 2 are the proper 2 8s that we've got now, right? So we're there for that. Then we have Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard is in the 10. Martin Odegaard, we are going to have a massive drop-off for whatever. Yeah? one of the players, along with Saliba and maybe Saka, that we're not going to be able to replace. You probably throw Rice in there as well. Whatever happens, they will be missed. You'll have cover for them. It might not be adequate cover to your liking, but it will be cover. But there will be a drop-off in those players when they're injured because they're key players. That's always going to happen. Whether it's Haaland or Foden or KDB at City, it's exactly the same. They've got cover, but it's not adequate cover. So for me, Ødegaard gets injured. At the moment, we have Fabio Vieira. Now, not a fan, I'm afraid. Kai Havertz is another option. Not a fan of him in midfield. So who do we get? Well, we are going to need, instead of Vieira as the second option, we're going to need to buy someone. And I think that someone needs to be this guy, Eze. Eze can come in and he can be an attacking midfielder. We do have Nwaneri, of course. We do have Fabio Vieira. But for me, Eze is the guy that Arsenal need to go and sign now after Mikel Merino. I really believe that. And I feel like there's absolute need for that to happen. Eze would be a phenomenal signing. He really would. Then we've got Bukayo Saka. Now, Bukayo Saka has played pretty much every game for Arsenal for 4 years? We're going to need some cover. So if Saka isn't about, you've got two options. This right-hand side here, we've got to cover it. We've got to cover it with someone good. There's some options. Do we buy a player of Pedro Neto's quality? Do we buy a player in Eze that can cover both Ødegaard and Saka? So be around this area of the pitch? Or do we go and get a Leroy Sané that people are saying a link with us? Now, I don't know personally if Leroy Sané is a realistic option. But now that we can't get Elise, who I wanted, who are we going to get? Is it going to be Eze, who I would like? Is it going to be a Pedro Neto, who I'd be happy to get? Is it going to be a Sané, who likewise I'd be fairly happy with? But I just feel like Eze is the perfect fit there because he can play right, he can play left, he can play 8, he can play 10. This is the guy we need. Nico Williams is not happening. He's staying at Athletic Bilbao now, apparently, and then there's potential for him to move to Barcelona in the future because that's the club he wants. So forget Nico Williams now. Let's move to the next guy, whether it's Sané, whether it's Neto, whether it's Eze. We need somebody. Now, if Eddie and Nketiah are going, we definitely need to look at the striker option. And that's the last thing I want to do. Havertz is starting, in my opinion, at the start of this season. And Gabriel Jesus is the cover striker, who also can go wide right, who also can go wide left, right? So that's the situation there. With the left-hand side, we're pretty much set. Gabby Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. I don't think you can get stronger in any of the leagues, to be honest, than those two. I think they're two of the best in their position, and we've got them both. So I'm more than happy with that. I really am. Now, what do we do? Eddie Nketiah goes. Havertz and Jesus remain. Do we need an upgrade on them both? If we do get anybody, it will be Victor Gyökeres, who would come in. Now, he would probably start, or at least if Havertz started, I think he'd be moulded in. And Jesus then might then be looked at potentially being the wide man, the squad rotated player, whatever it be. That's what it might be. So for me, I personally feel like there's an opportunity for us to go and get Victor Gyökeres. So that is how we can actually look to strengthen each position by just two more players after Mikel Merino, Eze and Victor Gyökeres. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I hope that makes sense and I hope that wasn't too confusing for you. If I had better graphics, trust me, I would do it a bit better than that. But hopefully there's some tools that are coming to the channel when we rebrand, which we're in the verge of doing, that will make it a hell of a lot easier for me to use a tactics board a bit better than that because it is a bit messy. But my point is, with Calafiori, with Mikel Merino, and potentially with Eze and Gyökeres, we can cover every position. It will give us 23 players, which is what we need. Obviously, 25 is the maximum you can register. We'd have to look at the homegrown situation, which is why I think Eze is definitely needed. Tommy Setford is obviously going to be a part of that. You've obviously got the likes of Saka, Ben White, Aaron Ramsdale, who might actually have to stay. We have to be aware of that. We honestly do. Sick formation, bro. Yeah. When you move it around like that, trust me, you end up with about 12, 13 players on the pitch. So my point was to show strength in depth, not different formations and systems. That's another show. Go and follow James B if you want that on FTV. That's him. That's definitely not my remit or my forte. So listen, Arsenal linked with Mikel Merino. Looks like it's going to happen. Definite links with Leroy Sané, with Eze, and with Neto over the last few weeks. And there are definite reports coming out of Sporting Lisbon that the Victor Gyökeres update is the following. There is definite talks that are true, apparently, between Coventry and Sporting Lisbon about the 10 to 15% sell-on fee. So from 15%, it's gone down to 10%. Why would they do that if they're not going to sell him? He's going to go. Whether it's this season or the next season or window, I don't know. But for me, I personally feel like it could be an opportunity for us to look at this deal. And I think that if they want 100 million euros and we're not willing to pay that, which is 84 million pounds, then we go in with a first offer. Let's go in with a first offer. Let's go and activate the release clause of Eze, which is 60 million plus 8 in add-ons. And then we go, if we want to, and release the clause of Victor Gyökeres, then they're both ours. If we don't feel like that's worth it, then go in and bid 60 million for Victor Gyökeres and see what they say. No, he's not for sale. All right, we'll give you 65. All right, we'll give you 70. Go up to what you believe he's worth. If they want the player, trust me, they'll pay it. Now, a lot of people are saying, there's no way we're going to spend this amount of money. This is not a lot of money. So we're talking about just over 200 million for all of these players. For Calafiori, for Mikel Merino, for Eze, and for Gyökeres. That is less than what we spent last summer on the likes of Raya, Timber, Havertz, and Rice. Now, Mikel Arteta made it quite clear that he's not going to go in for a Declan Rice signing. We're not going to go and spend 150 million. We're not going to go and get the big player that everyone goes, wow. Do you know why? It's not because we ain't got the money. It's because there ain't the player available. If Frankie de Jong was available and said, I want Arsenal, I'm sure we're going to go and get him. If Bruno Guimaraes said, I'm definitely leaving Newcastle and Arsenal's the club we want, I think we'd go and buy him. If Isak said, come and get me, Arsenal, I'm your number 14 and I'm your new Thierry Henry, Arsenal were going to say, let's go get him. But none of that's happening, guys. So I think we just have to be realistic about it. We just have to be realistic and understand that it is 100% going to be a summer where we look to strengthen in terms of squad depth and we look to try and do as best we can to try and get something happening with Merino, something happening, in my opinion, with Eze, and something happening, of course, with Victor Gyökeres. That is what I would like. That is my kind of dream at the moment. The scenario is that we get those players in because that for me covers everything. That for me covers everything. I really would like to see that. So, yeah, I'm in that scenario right now where I would really like it to be those players that come in. I'm not saying they were going to go win the league with them. I'm saying that we're going to be better with them, 100%. But I'm not saying we're going to go and be guaranteed to win the league with them. No, right? That's not what I'm saying. So that one is going to be very interesting. Gyökeres is a player that I would not sleep on. Don't sleep on it. Trust me, because there's an opportunity for us to get him. And I think he'd be a good sign. And I think he could ball out. I really do. I really think there's an opportunity there. I really do. So let's see what happens there. It could be a very interesting one for sure. And I've got to say, it's a player that since Coventry I looked at and I liked. I did. Let's get the Liverpool team news up. I've not seen that yet. So let's take a look at that. Where are we? Liverpool team news. For the Arsenal game, here we go. They've got Kelleher in goal. I'll tell you what, I might as well share it, mightn't I? Because I shared the Arsenal one. So let's share this one as well. Where are we? Liverpool team news. Boom. Okay, so they have got Kelleher in goal. They have got Szoboszlai. They've got Salah, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Jota, Tsimikas, Carvalho, Vandenberg, Quansah, and Connor Bradley. Bit of a mixture, to be fair. Very, very similar to Arsenal in terms of strength. I don't think there's any team that you look at and think is stronger. I think all of those players have played enough games for Liverpool, and we've got a squad that's played enough together as Arsenal. So there's not really any kids I've not heard of. There's no real players there that I'm thinking, who the hell is that? I've even heard of Vandenberg, who's obviously the ginger centre-half they've got that they're looking at potentially selling, I believe. They've got a bench, which I don't know that I know much of. We'll go through it anyway. Jaros, Pitaluga, Davies, Endo, Kenyatte, Gravenberch, Bajcetic, Chambers, Phillips, Gordon, Doak, McConnell, Beck, Narlo, Kumas, Morton, Blair, Stevenson, and Nioni. So that is Liverpool's team, people. I will come to a close so that you can get settled down, start finding the channel you want to watch it on, and go for it. I do think personally we will win tonight. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to the Arsenal, and keep an eye on what's happening with the outgoings, because this is what I want to close with. Smith-Rowe's gone. Reece Nelson, it's gone a bit quiet, but I believe Leicester are still interested. We're trying to sort out a loan with an obligation. I think they're sorting out the price of that obligation. So we'll keep an eye on what happens with Reece Nelson. Been playing very well in pre-season, I have to say. I thought he was one of the most sharp and definitely one of the sharpest players in my opinion. But I think he's got to go. He's a player that I just think needs to be leaving. And then, of course, you look at Eddie Nketiah. Now, this is where I need to be honest with you, people. I don't rate Eddie. I don't think he's a world-class talent. I don't think he's a great striker. I don't think he's Premier League, like elite level. I do think he'll score some goals. What we can't do is say, oh, do you know what? This is a really bad player. Get rid of him. And then when someone says here's 20 million, go, what? And there'll be outrage and uproar. Because you can't say someone's crap and then sneeze at the money that they're going to try and pay him for. Because for me, Eddie Nketiah has always been worth about 20 or 25 million tops. If we can try and get more than that, brilliant. I'm not saying we shouldn't. But don't be annoyed when people don't want to pay more than 20 million, because that is pretty much what he's worth. Now, in today's market, you can look at other players and go, he's worth 50, he's worth 70, No, he's not. Eddie Nketiah will get a handful of goals for a team. So I think we just need to take what we can with this one. He wants to go Marseille. He's bought into De Zerbi's project. De Zerbi wants the player. He's suggesting it'll be a good move for him. If we can get Nelson done for 20 and we can get Eddie for 25, rising to 30 with Nelson rising to 20 odd, I think we should say yes and let them go. And go and get the money spent on Eze. Go and get the money spent on Gyökeres. They're the only two that we need, people. Let's go and get it done. That's what I would do. So Eddie, we might have to just hold an L on that one and say fair play. Listen, people, you've been an absolute legendary viewers. Thank you so much for being here. Been a great audience, been great interaction in the chat. Make sure you do me a favor and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button as well, please, because at the moment we do not have enough. There's been 900 to 1,000 of you in here, which is incredible this evening. It's not even 500 likes. So let's get that up to 500 plus, please, people. Let's get up to 600. In fact, let's get up to 700 for those that are watching on catch up. Do me a favor and hit the subscribe button as well, because we're getting close to 30. I want to be hitting that. So let's make sure you are part of the community by hitting the like and subscribe button. And then make sure you follow Manscaped, because Manscaped have got 20% off of the beard hedger. Yes, we're talking about facial hair now. Manscaped are doing a great deal on the beard hedger. All you've got to do is click on that link and go and get your 20% off deal. Make sure you get it done, people. Beard and face, beard hedger, 20% off. Done. We'll see you next time. Hopefully Arsenal win tonight or this morning or the early hours or whatever you want to call it. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. And as always, up the Arsenal, people. See you soon.
Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of gradient settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.